Hi. I propose that we discuss an opera for half an hour. Woo! This is a challenge, but let's see. I guess I would choose Don Giovanni. I think it's one of the 5 greatest operas, maybe one of the 2. I take the 2 greatest operas to be Aida and Don Giovanni. Right up there with it are The Marriage of Figaro, also by Mozart. Don Giovanni's by Mozart. Carmen by Bizet, French opera, absolutely great. And I guess La Traviata by Verdi. Aida's by Verdi, La Traviata by Verdi. There are other possibilities, though. Der Rosenkavalier is the greatest German opera, I think, better than any Wagner. But anyway, to Don Giovanni. Mozart composed Don Giovanni in 1790, 1789-90. He died in 91. 1790, let's say, 1788 to 90. Mozart was living in Vienna, where he spent most of his adult life. He was immensely productive, and as you know, several great operas, of which Don Giovanni I take to be the best. Now, his libretto, little book, his librettist or librettista was Lorenzo da Ponte. Lorenzo da Ponte was a witty Italian who was actually a priest, I think. But for the Italians, sometimes that was the best way to get a good education, become a priest. Lorenzo da Ponte, immensely witty, intelligent man too, I think, who later, after the death of Mozart, emigrated to America and became a professor of Italian at Columbia University. Is that amazing? Okay, but to our opera. Da Ponte, the wittiest of all writers of libretti, and Mozart was lucky enough to have him for 3, his 3 best. Don Giovanni, Le Nozze di Figaro, which is The Marriage of Figaro, and Così fan tutte. Tell you about those sometime. Or if I run out of gas on Don Giovanni, I'll tell you about those. Okay, Don Giovanni is based on a very famous French play by Beaumarchais. No, take that back. Ultimately, it's based on a play by Molière, Don Juan. The originator was a Spaniard. That doesn't matter. The point is that the Don Juan, as we say in English, myth spread all over Europe between the 16th and 20th century. By the way, in the 20th century, even George Bernard Shaw wrote a famous play based on it called Man and Superman, still basing this work on this Don Juan myth. Perhaps the greatest work of literature using the name is Byron's Don Juan. He wanted that pronunciation so that it would rhyme with new one. Wonderful, long poem, epic kind of, by Byron, the best thing he ever did, based on the same character, whom we will call Don Giovanni. Don Giovanni is the story of a Spanish nobleman who, in his, I think probably boredom, decided to make a game of, Casanova did the same thing later in Venice, during the lifetime of Mozart too, make a game of seducing women. He has his servant, Leporello, a charming, wonderful Leporello, with him, and Leporello keeps the catalogo, the catalog, and he keeps the numbers, he compiles the numbers of Don Giovanni's seductions according to country. That is, so many in Spain, so many in blah, blah, blah. And I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Anyway, the 2 main characters of the opera are Don Giovanni and Leporello. Now I'll tell you the story. at the beginning, Act 1, Scene 1, Leporello has the opening. It's nighttime, dark. Leporello is waiting outside a rich man's, a nobleman's house. It can be in the courtyard, it can be outside. And he's complaining because Don Giovanni, his master, works him so hard and all kinds of hours. He's got to wait outside at midnight while Don Giovanni is inside trying to seduce a woman. The woman whom he's trying to seduce here is Donna Anna. Now when you hear Don or Donna in Spanish, this means a nobleman. Donna Anna is a virtuous, just use that word, woman, the daughter of the commendatore, the commander, kind of like police head, a high official. Don Giovanni is their neighbor. He has his home. He's rich, of course. He has his home not very far away. So this is especially a risky proceeding for Don Giovanni, but he's wearing a mask, and he hopes to seduce this woman without being recognized. All of this sounds pretty brutal, but the spirit of Don Giovanni is... what should we say the spirit is? Because that's important. At first the spirit is comedy, but the element of seriousness rises slowly, gradually in the play until, in the opera, until by the end it's pretty serious. Okay, notte, giorno, fatica, opening words, Leporello complaining night and day, I've got to work for this guy, while he runs after the ladies. Suddenly we hear a scream. Donna Anna is screaming and resisting Don Giovanni, who basically is trying to rape her. She screams and resists him and fights him off, and she tries to remove his mask, but he will not let that happen. Suddenly enter the old man, her father, il commendatore, who is a gallant man, and he draws his sword on Don Giovanni and says, "Fight, you dog." Don Giovanni says, "Go away, old man, or I'll kill you. You're old, I'm young, this is not wise. Let's just end this thing." Commendatore insists. They have a duel, a fight right away, and Don Giovanni kills him. Well, this is kind of bad. Bad enough, as Leporello says, to try to seduce or rape the girl, but to kill the old man, this is really bad. It's hard to see how serious Leporello is, though, because Leporello has become almost as cynical as Don Giovanni. And in the end, a very serious aspect of this opera is this kind of analysis of cynicism. Don Giovanni is a very cynical man. He laughs at all the values of everyone, especially feminine virtue, marriage. All these things are absurd to him. Leporello has become a little cynical too. Anyway, Leporello threatens to leave Don Giovanni, but Don Giovanni says, no, stay. And in a way they are buddies. They are friends. But of course one of them has power and money and the other is the servant. But this is a tantalizing aspect of Mozart's two main operas. Really three. Die Zauberflöte, the magic flute, would count among these two. We are inching toward democratic times. After all, by 1788, America is a country. That's the year of our Constitution, in fact. By 1789, we will have a French Revolution. So talk of liberty, equality, and fraternity is in the air. And it's in Mozart's operas, too. That is, the formerly strict lines separating classes are becoming much less strict. Democracy is on the horizon, as we say. Okay, so Leporello, at first Don Giovanni says, "Oh, come on, be a good guy, stay with me." And Don Giovanni even threatens him, and Leporello says, okay, okay. Next we have a scene where Don Otavio, who is in love with Donna Anna, comes in. He is a high-voiced tenor. By the way, Don Giovanni is sometimes played by a bass or by a baritone. It's a low voice part, and Leporello is a bass, low voice also. For voice, the opera is very interesting. To have the lead player have that deep baritone or bass voice is very unusual. Mostly the lead men are tenors. Don Otavio is a tenor, and at first we almost think he's kind of an effeminate, a little bit ridiculous, soft and too mannerly compared with the manly Don Giovanni. Gradually we come to respect Don Otavio a little more. He's a good man. He's just not very assertive, not very masculine, not very virile. He comforts Donna Anna, who has had a very rough time after all. She was almost raped and now she's lost her father. Don Otavio wants to take care of her, wants her to marry him, and she says, no, I can't think of marriage now. If you love me, find the man who killed my father. He swears it. Lo giuro, I swear it. And the plot is moving. Don Otavio and Donna Anna will try to find out who this was who killed the commendatore and tried to rape her. And gradually, by almost the middle of the opera, they will find that it was Don Giovanni, their neighbor. Then what? Okay, so the love between them is very important, but sometimes one has the feeling that even Donna Anna, who's a good person and a hurt person, she's lost her father. The characterization in the opera is excellent. Is a little attracted to Don Giovanni, and a little unattracted to this very gentle, mild Don Otavio. Well, this is a little bit cynical on the part of Mozart, maybe. Da Ponte, the librettist, the author of the text, definitely, because it suggests that women kind of like that manly forcefulness rather than the gentle, mild, too courteous, too polite male. Kind of naughty of them, but this naughtiness is in the air too. In very worldly, very sophisticated Vienna of that time. Okay, the plot continues. Don Giovanni and Leporello are talking about the next woman whom Don Giovanni is going to seduce. Don Giovanni goes off to seduce her. I don't remember who it is. And Leporello is left to sing the famous song, the first really famous song of the opera, Il Catalogo. Madamina, il catalogo è questo. And then Italian lively music, just so charming. And Leporello reads from the catalog. In Italia 631, in Italy 630, in France 320, in Yugoslavia, in Turkey 200, in España son ya 1003. But in Spain, he shakes his head. Already 1,003 women Don Giovanni has seduced, and he shakes his head, but we know he's laughing. He's cynical about this. He kind of admires it, and the play kind of taunts us all. Are we shocked? Do we loathe a man who could do this, or do we admire him? And the play kind of taunts us. The opera taunts us a little bit on that. On what are our true values in this matter. Okay, Then Don Giovanni returns, and enter the next main character, Donna Elvira. Now, she is interesting. She's a passionate Spanish woman, noble woman, and it turns out that Don Giovanni married her. He's married to her. My God. That's interesting. The play never explores what it was that made him marry her. Now, we would all admit that he's capable of doing anything to seduce a woman, including marry. But I don't think he would marry more than one woman. Would be very risky. He married this woman and spent 3 or 10 days with her. I don't know, but either one is amazing, because this man, who is the woman who could hold this man for 3 hours? So she's a remarkable woman. And now, abandoned by him, she's looking for him. She still loves him, but she's, of course, hurt and angry. She has some deep emotions, too. And she has a great soprano voice, and she has some good songs. Passionate. And she finds Leporello, and she finds Don Giovanni. Don Giovanni tells a lie. He's very good at lying, of course. And he slips away. She's left with Leporello, and Leporello, after making some jokes, kind of moves off too. And so she's kind of left on her own. Eventually, she will join in with Don Otavio and Donna Anna, and they will form a threesome who will pursue Don Giovanni. Next scene, famous scene, peasants. Low class. Farming, but healthy, nice people. There's about to be a peasant wedding. The wedding will join Mazzetto. The names are funny even in Italian. A sturdy, robust, but not too smart guy, with Zerlina. Zerlina, charming. The name is charming. Beautiful, pretty Italian or Spanish peasant girl. All this in Italian, though. And the crowd around them sings, hooray, hooray, they're going to get married, hooray, they're going to have a wonderful life, blah, blah, blah. Enter Don Giovanni and Leporello. Don Giovanni immediately attracted to Zerlina and loves the challenge. He's going to try to seduce Zerlina on her wedding day. Wow, what a guy. Leporello just stands and shakes his head. Wow. But then a couple of the girls in the group are attracted to Leporello, and we find Leporello kind of becoming active with a couple of the girls. Virtue, sexual virtue, black and white, I don't think so. It's certainly not in this opera. Anyway, so Don Giovanni goes to work on Zerlina in this very famous scene. And he's passionate, and he's appealing to her because he has money. What a different life hers would be if she married him rather than Mazzetto. Her life will be full of labor and not poverty perhaps, but not comfort with Mazzetto. And so Don Giovanni appeals to her desire to lead a happy, comfortable, pleasurable life. And he sings the very famous song, La ci darem la mano. Go off with me, we will give each other, we will hold each other's hands, we will pledge our love to each other in that little cottage up on the hill. All he wants to do is seduce her, but she, a little bit simple, a little bit naive, though she's not really a fool at all, as it turns out, almost yields. Almost yields. Enter Donna Elvira to break it up. Don't be a fool, this is a monster. Zerlina slips away. She almost yielded, though. And once again, Don Giovanni slips away from Donna Elvira, because the plot must move. I'm losing something here. Somehow Mazzetto, of course, is very unhappy. Oh, that's right. Leporello had to lure Mazzetto away so that Don Giovanni could try to seduce Zerlina. Mazzetto is very hurt and angry about this, of course, and complains. Then we get the scene that really unmasks Don Giovanni because it's nighttime. Oh, that's right. Don Giovanni invites them all to his home. They have a party. He brings out all the wine and food, and everyone is distracted by the feast and the food and the drink and the dancing. Great dancing music, wonderful. And meanwhile, Don Giovanni goes to work on Zerlina. He takes her off into a room. She resists because she's not a total fool. And suddenly we hear screams. Don Giovanni is trying to rape her. Everyone runs around. There's total chaos, disorder, in the sense. Enter Don Otavio and Don Anna and Don Elvira. Zerlina is rescued, but just in a nick of time. In fact, it's almost questionable whether she was rescued, but she was. And now Don Otavio and Don Anna are a little more sure that maybe it was Don Giovanni who killed her father, Don Anna's father. Zerlina is rescued. Later in the scene, outside, Mazzetto runs into Don Giovanni changes clothes with Leporello. So now Leporello is dressed as Don Giovanni. You see how the mixing of the social ranks here and social classes, tremendous. In the confusion, Don Elvira finds in the darkness Leporello, but she thinks she's talking with Don Giovanni, and he covers himself and muffles his voice, but she starts to kiss him and hold him. Now this puts poor Leporello in a difficult position. Will he respond to her physically and he's Don Giovanni, or will he say no, I'm Leporello? That's a difficult situation. Meanwhile, Mazzetto finds Leporello, but really it's Don Giovanni, and Leporello Mazzetto complains that Don Giovanni is a bad man, he's a terrible man, and when I find him, I will hit him, I will hit him, I will hit him. Well, Don Giovanni can't stand this. He says, you think you will hit Don Giovanni? Take this, and he beats up poor Mazzetto. And poor Mazzetto wonders, why is Leporello beating me up? But Leporello is bruised and badly beaten. In comes Zerlina, and comforts poor Mazzetto, tells him that she really loves him, that nothing happened. Poor Mazzetto is beaten up, his feelings are hurt, he feels like he was betrayed, but Zerlina is brilliant. She is so loving, so wonderful, so cute, so affectionate, and she wins his heart right back in a wonderful scene as she comforts him. Physically too, it's very charming and witty. Okay, next scene, we're headed for the showdown. Another big party at Don Giovanni's house. This time, the music is there. The dance music is the most wonderful in the world. Even more wonderful than Le Nozze, Marriage of Figaro. The threesome Don Anna, Don Otavio and Donna Elvira sing a wonderful song while Leporello and Don Giovanni talk, and the music is playing this dance music. It's just it's overwhelmingly brilliant. Wonderful music, wonderful words, wonderful staging. Nothing can equal it. And Don Elvira hears Don Giovanni speak. Don Anna hears Don Giovanni speak, and suddenly, revelation. Don Otavio, hold me. I'm falling, I'm fainting. The man who tried to seduce me and who killed my father is Don Giovanni. Ah! What will we do? We can't just kill him, but we're going to pursue him and we're going to punish him somehow. I swear it. Now Don Otavio is becoming a little more manly. He's not afraid of Don Giovanni. They're both equals in social rank. He's well trained. He's not afraid. They will pursue him. Other stuff happens, but it's not important. Final scene. Don Giovanni once again preparing to enjoy himself. Lots of food, lots of wine. Leporello is jealous. He wants to eat some of the food, and he eats some on the sly, surreptitiously. Charming, but I think what is happening there is we're beginning to see that Don Giovanni is guilty not just of one of the 7 deadly sins. Notice, is he guilty of lust? Is it lust that drives him? No. This is not physical desire. This is sheer will to power in Nietzschean terms. This is sheer the desire to dominate and control other people. This is what lust really is. It's not the physical drive that is a culpable sin. Anyway, he's also guilty of gluttony, pride, of course, and all the other sins too, as is subtly shown in the last scene especially. Finally, the climax of the whole opera. They're outside. Sorry, skipped something. Before they go to his house, they're outside. They're standing at a statue. It's a statue of the Commendatore. That is an equestrian statue. He's pictured on a horse, and he's buried there. Leporello and Don Giovanni are talking, and suddenly, Rididime says, and the statue speaks. It's the Commendatore, and he's speaking. The statue is speaking. And Leporello is terrified, and Don Giovanni is shocked, but he's interested. He's not a cowardly man at all. He's very brave. Okay, Don Giovanni, the final climax. Anyway, so they're outside, and the Commendatore says, Don Giovanni invites the Commendatore, a statue, to come and dine at his house. Commendatore accepts. Oh my God, Leporello is terrified. Final scene, party music, dancing, and wine, lots of drink and food, and this is where Leporello steals some of the food. Still comical to the end. Enter Donna Elvira, giving Don Giovanni a final warning. Change, repent, Christian morality here. Repent, or you will be doomed, you will be damned, your perdition is certain. Don Giovanni laughs, he's cynical to the end. Go away, woman, you're bothering me, this is stupid. And she leaves. Then we hear a knock on the door. Leporello, go to the door. Leporello is terrified. Go to the door. He goes to the door. Enter Commendatore. Usually on the stage, the statue arises from the back. It's hard to play, but it doesn't matter. The music is tremendous, just so impressive. Don Giovanni is shocked, of course, but he talks and says, yes, you're welcome. I invited you, so you're welcome. I'm a man of honor, that Spanish honor thing. Commendatore says, I came to your house for dinner, you come to mine. It's the gentlemanly thing to do. Agree? Don Giovanni thinks for a minute and says, okay. Now, on a serious level, I think this is Don Giovanni's looking for some finality, death. But he is defiant to the end, and that's admirable, I think, under anybody's scrutiny. And so Commendatore says, shake my hand on it, sticks out his hand. Don Giovanni thinks for a minute. Leporello says, no, don't. Leporello is hiding under the table at this time, of course, trembling, of course. And Don Giovanni takes the hand. Ah! It's the hand of death, the hand of damnation. He will never get loose from that hand. The music swirls and swirls. Devils may be seen dancing here in some productions, and Don Giovanni is taken off the stage in smoke down to hell. Enter the other characters, Don Otavio, Don Anna, Don Elvira. Leporello comes out from under the table. Wonderful. I don't think Zerlina and Mazzetto are there, but they should be probably. But that would be too much. Then they'd be really too much equals. Anyway, they moralize for a while. The final ending is a little bit disappointing. The ending of Le Nozze is the best in opera. But I still think Don Giovanni is a better opera for the beauty of the music. There's just so much. The abundance of beauty is just so overwhelming of Don Giovanni. But Le Nozze is close second in my own opinion. But the ending is a little disappointing. This moralizing, Don Otavio and Don Anna will get married. Don Elvira, of course, will go to a convent. Leporello will look for a new master. Oh, a little boring, but the opera is a miracle, I think. Great.